Enzo Fernandez is a chameleon or an octopus or anyhow you want to call him. Because really, Enzo Fernandez isn't a player that a lot of us who profiled him at the World Cup, who profiled him at River Plate, is actually. Now, I'll delve strictly into that. I'll go into this analysis, describe who Enzo Fernandez is, what he has been, where he has come from, who he is. But guys, thank you very much for joining me here on Fiifi-Manfred. I'm grateful, very, very grateful, like I always do, for your time, for your attention. You've done an amazing job. We are growing and growing and growing, and I'm excited about it. But just before we go on, if you're a new viewer, this is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. I'm a football tactical analyst. I specialize in tactical analysis, player and team analysis. You would want to be here at any point in time to enjoy some videos. So yeah, just before we go, turn on the notification button, guys. If you've not turned the notification button, if you're already subscribed and not turning the notification button, do turn it on now, guys. Of course, again, if you are a new viewer, make sure you do subscribe to the channel and then tap on the notification button and do select all. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred. I'll be back with you. I'll tell you why Enzo Fernandez is a crew. And we're back again. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred, and this is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Now let's delve straight into it. Of course, the international break is starting. There are some updates at Chelsea Football Club, and I'd want to run you through it. First of all, it's the fact that, of course, Axel Disasi has pulled up of the French national team. Axel Disasi has pulled out the French Le Bleu. He has an injury in his quadril. So it's a muscle in the upper thigh, which usually propels a lot of movements and is in charge of that. It's also usually being hurt when there is some awkward landing when you go for aerial duels. And you know that Axel Disasi is an aerial monster. He goes in for a lot of those aerial duels a lot of the times. So he did injure that and he decided to stay away from the French national team. He's back at Cobham. The report, however, is that, first of all, there isn't going to be any problem at all with Axel Disasi's recovery from now to 21st of September, October actually, where Chelsea plays Arsenal Football Club. So Chelsea, Axel Disasi has put out the French national team, Le Bleu, and he has been replaced by another Chelsea player, Malo Gusto. Mind you, Malo Gusto was playing in Thierry Henry's French under-21 side with a lot of other players, with Benoit Bedlachile, with Bradley Bracola, with Ryan Cherki, those French under-21 players. That's where Malo Gusto was. But today he has been called by French national team coach Didier Deschamps, and he speaks about the different exploits and what exactly he gives to them. If you look at the full-back areas of the French national team, that's one area that they are not really stuck in. At centre back, they're stuck in quality. In midfield, you have quality, especially with the onset of Eduardo Camavinga and Aurélien Tchouameni. But at full-back, however, apart from Theo Hernandez, there isn't really so much of an excellent fullback in the French national team. Yes, Benjamin Pavard can play there, but essentially, he's an outside center back in a 3-back. So France don't really have a proper fullback. Malo Gusto is one of the very few that they've had in recent times, and he's back. He isn't the first time actually. He's going to be in Didier Deschamps' French national team, and it's an exciting one for him. Another one also, the international break and what's happening to the Chelsea players. First of all, also, my man Nicolas Jackson is out of Chelsea. He's out of Senegal's international squad, actually. The reason is simple. You remember he had an injury against Fulham on his arm. He's decided to stay away from them so that he can go and do a minor operation on his hand and then return against Arsenal. In that game against Arsenal, I have an analysis on that of how Chelsea possibly are going to line up against Arsenal. I'm looking at a 4-2-3-1 again, this time different profiles. I think that Marc Cucurella is done in the starting lineup. Reece James is going to be in there. Of course, you have Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo. Then Conor Gallagher and then Cole Palmer can stay centrally. Because Reece James is in, Cole Palmer can really drop centrally and he doesn't need Conor to come and fill in those space. We'll talk about that tactical analysis later. But then also another big news for Chelsea is that today, Fabrizio Romano is reporting on his YouTube that, you know what, it's official. Mauricio Pochettino from January is going to have a key conversation, a key member in terms of player purchase. What does this mean? First of all, it actually does mean that Chelsea are moving away from the under-21s. They've done the core part, the core squad building exploit of their job as it stands now. Now, what they want to do is that they want to now allow and bring the coach in to help in terms of the experienced players that he would want to add to his squad. And January is going to be very, very important, especially with a possible purchase of a striker, either Victor Osimhen or Ivan Toney. Ivan, who has had Premier League experience and is 27, and Victor Osimhen, who's 24, hasn't had Premier League experience, but is a prolific goal scorer. He's a killer in front of post for Napoli. He did it last season. He's doing it again this season. Did it for the Nigerian Super Eagles. He has done it in the German Bundesliga, and his track record is there for everybody to see. So that's a bit by way of updates. But yes, Enzo is a chameleon. He's an octopus. Wait, I want to start this with a little bit of context. Now, Enzo Fernandez, if you go and you check at transfer.com and you want to check what kind of player he is in terms of his profile, they'll tell you he's a CM, right? But you watch Enzo Fernandez in the last World Cup for Argentina where he won, where he was a very, very important player for Argentina. And then you come back and you watch him at Chelsea and you're like, wow, that's a chameleon of a player. That's a different player. I mean, when I say he's a different player, I don't mean that he's not playing well. I mean that he's showing different attributes than he showed for Argentina. Now, you remember in Argentina, in the game against Mexico, after Messi scored a wonderful goal, Enzo Fernandez, announced himself on the world stage in an Argentine shirt with also another brilliant goal in the box. I mean, it was a short corner kick. He dummied this attacker in the box and then placed the ball. Now, since Enzo Fernandez came to Chelsea, he has scored just once. None in the English Premier League, but just one in the Carabao Cup. So, I mean, if you look at his shots accuracy, has been bad for Chelsea this season. In fact, throughout last season. Under Frank James Lampard, Enzo Fernandez was played more like a hybrid and like an 8. I mean, more forward to try and help because Chelsea really didn't have an inside number 10. Somebody who was an interior to create for Chelsea. They didn't have it. Now, he constantly did that. And this means that if you play in this position, you are going to crash the box. You are going to be the player that gets to the end of the ball at the edge of the box. You get onto the end of these balls a lot of the times. And Enzo Fernandez actually did a couple of times at Chelsea last season. He never really scored a goal. In fact, he started almost every game since he joined Chelsea, but never scored a goal. But then he had come from a World Cup where he was brilliant. Mind you, Chelsea bought him in January. He had come from a World Cup somewhere in December. And in the box, he scored a brilliant goal. You were seeing times where he was shooting the ball as if he had a very, very good ball striking ability and there was some accuracy to it. But really, he comes to Chelsea. Frank Lampard plays him there. And this guy is like a different guy altogether. We are only seeing his line-breaking passes. We are only seeing his progressive carries. We are only seeing his progressive passes. We aren't really seeing the job he's done in terms of the goals that he did for Argentina or what he has been doing for Argentina. And that's exactly why I say that. Now, again, if you want to see the best times of Enzo Fernandez, now you go back to Graham Potter's days as well, where he was also confused on how to play Enzo Fernandez. Because, of course, there are times where he had Kai Havertz, he wants to play Kai as a hybrid 9 or something, or as a false 9, and then play Enzo Fernandez right behind him. Sometimes play two interiors in Felix and then Enzo Fernandez. But that never really worked because Enzo wasn't getting to the end of it. Yes, you can argue and say that, okay, you know what, at the time, Chelsea was struggling. So it was only normal that Enzo too was going to struggle and all of those things that happened. But are you not surprised that once Mauricio Pochettino has played him next to Moises Caicedo in a double 6, he has been brilliant in terms of the first phase. Now, I have a particular thesis or analysis where I say that the best players in any team should be involved in the ball about 80 to 85% of the time anytime they're on the ball. So I've said that the most ideal time Chelsea will have on the ball is when you have someone like Benoit Badiashile on the ball, when you have Benoit Badiashile starting for Chelsea, when you have Levi Cole starting for Chelsea, when you have Reece James starting, and then you have Thiago Silva in the back three. So you have Benoit, Thiago, and then Levi Cole in the back three. Reece James is going to push for it. You have Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. You have Cole Palmer in there. Now, these are the most technical players in that team. Very, very technical. They hardly will lose the ball. And that's who Enzo Fernandez. If you look at the numbers of the progressive passes he has given, especially when he came to play in that double 6 role with Moises Caicedo, he has been brilliant. He has been getting those balls forward very well. First phase, second phase, first phase, second phase, reception of the ball under pressure, and then carrying forward. He has done it brilliantly. So that's exactly what I'm saying. That guy is some chameleon or an octopus, whatever you want to call it. Because he is not the guy that Chelsea fans thought they were getting. Chelsea fans thought that they were getting a number 10 or attacking a proper attacking number 8, a proper box crashing midfielder. But Enzo is not even a box-to-box midfielder. He's essentially a progressive guy. He's essentially a ball-sided progressor in a double six. He is not necessarily what you get in the final third to give you goals. And I'm saying that it was a fluke at the World Cup when he scored that goal against Mexico. And there he is. He's struggling to even get goals. The last time, in fact, the game against Fulham, he came so close a couple of times. Against Brighton and Hove Albion as well. He also several times forced some saves, but never really looked like he was really going to score. And that's the thing with Enzo Fernandez for me. And I'm glad that Mauricio Pochettino, as it stands now, seems to have found a balance between attack and defense with Enzo Fernandez and the job that he can give. I only think that in going into games like the one against Arsenal, Chelsea need to exert more control. So there needs to be much more control in going into the game against Arsenal, because now you are going into a team that can kill you at any point in time. A team that has a lot of control. A team that's an equally excellent midfield than you. So if Arsenal are playing Rice Partey, where maybe Partey will come inverted if it's fully fit at the time, then you know that that base is going to be very strong in terms of progression. How are Chelsea going to deal with Odegaard, Odegaard in the half spaces every point in time? Sometimes when you have someone like even Kai Havertz, when Raya wants to go long to, how are Chelsea going to deal with these things? It means that Enzo Fernandez will do more of a defensive work in a structure. The Chelsea structure is not perfect. These are the nitty-gritties of Enzo's game that's going to be very, very important, however you want to see it. And that's the thing. And Enzo needs to make sure that he's specific with one job, especially with the defensive job and the progressive job. Once he gets this locked in, he's good. But Enzo, of course, is a world-class, brilliant midfielder. It's just that he is not a guy that a lot of Chelsea fans thought they got. He is not a guy that they thought was going to score goals from them from the attacking third. More like Cole Palmer is that guy. Somebody that can come inverted, receive the balls in the half spaces, create the chances, and even get to the end of it. Enzo had a chance where he had a penalty against West Ham United, and he flapped it. Enzo Fernandez, the guy is a fraud. Fraud in front of posts. Let me add it to it. Because seriously, if he is the guy that's supposed to score the goals, he wouldn't be missing these chances. And maybe it's time that Chelsea fans reassess how they see Enzo Fernandez as a player, how they watch him, how they discuss things with him. I mean, it's not that easy at all. They need to really have a very good look at him, because he's a kind of player that can do a lot more in terms of progression, but really offers you less in attacking third. Actually, I even with line breaking passes, they work so well from deep. There are not so much of line breaking passes in the final third or in front of the opposition box, right? So you keep on wondering that, okay, who really is this Enzo Fernandez guy? He's an octopus. He's a chameleon, whatever you want to call him. But essentially, he's one of the best progressive passers in the game as it stands now. He's a brilliant midfielder for Chelsea. The 105 million quid they bought him for is a pure bargain. Albeit he doesn't get you goals. Have it, notice, and no peace. Enzo Fernandez will not be scoring goals for you. And it's exactly why Chelsea brought in Cole Palmer. It's very, very important that they got Cole Palmer. They needed somebody to do that job. Now with Kani Chukwuemeka, who is more of a connector than a number 10 in the team. Now you can also hope that in December, there's going to be Nkuku also back into the team. So the team has the technical players back into the team again. And when they do, that's when we fully judge Mauricio Pochettino on how he can really gel this team together and build a team. In fact, I actually think that the Arsenal game is going to come down to who really has a team, who really wins the tactical battle, who really gets the job done. Yes, execution will be there. If you look at how Moesca said, Enzo Fernandez are going to fly out from South America to come and they'll get to England in somewhere around Wednesday. It's going to be a tough one. But then I'm still thinking that Chelsea have a good chance to show where their progress have been. Now, Enzo Fernandez will be very important in terms of progression in a game against Arsenal where he's going to be pressed, because he will be pressed against Arsenal incessantly. They will not stop pressing him. They'll come at him. They'll take him on. They'll try to bully him off the ball. That is where the progressive pass of Enzo Fernandez will be important. Now, it's about the selection of passes and how meticulous he will be and how much the volumes will also be. More volume, especially to the right-hand side where Reece James is, where Chelsea would want to overload, will be very important. if you are playing with Tomiyasu, then you'd want to overload him a lot of the time because 1v1 he's a monster. If you're overloading those areas also with, say, Tomiyasu or Zinchenko, then you do that with James. It's important in that regard. But, I mean, essentially, Enzo Fernandez is a chameleon. He's an octopus. He is whatever you want to call him. But definitely, he's not a goal scorer. Thank you very much. Welcome to the end of the channel. My name is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. The channel name is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Do all to subscribe. Do all turn on notification. Do all to share. I'll see you.